Welcome to the Hometown Bluegrass Show with Kentucky boys Tim Batts and Josh Williams. Tim is a music promoter, radio host, and passionate bluegrasser, and Josh is a 20-time Bluegrass Guitar Player of the Year. This podcast is all about bluegrass music, where they swap stories, crack jokes, and pick on each other. Josh even plays a song or two in each episode. Plus, they sit down with bluegrass artists and insiders for interviews you won't hear anywhere else. It's music, it's laughs, it's all things bluegrass, right here on the Hometown Bluegrass Show. Now, here are your hosts, Tim Batts and Josh Williams.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Hometown Bluegrass Show. I am Tim Batts, along with my dear friend Josh Williams.
Me,
the man, the myth, the legend, and we are here on episode 92 of the Hometown Bluegrass Show. And that voice you just heard is who we are excited to talk with tonight. That was Miss Terry Baucom, and I can't wait to get with her a little bit later, find out what's going on in her world. So,
right.
But what's going on in your world today, man?
Well, I'm about to head to Nash Vegas.
Oh, fun.
I'll play some banjo on the Grand Ole Opry.
Man, you keep messing around, you might get good at that banjo.
I might end up starting to play one again. Who knows?
You're IBMA Banjo Player of the Year, Mr. Josh Williams.
I definitely don't look for that to happen. But one never knows, I guess.
Hey, man, keep dreaming, you know. Well, that's great.
That's
so
right.
Playing the Grand Ole Opry tonight as we record this, which is Wednesday, March the 4th, but we this will come out on Friday, March the 6th, and that's where you get to hear it. So it'll be old news that you have played the Opry, but you're doing that here in a little while. So
yeah, but we're going to tell you about a show that you can't listen to because it's already been done.
That's right, exactly. Yeah, so don't get your hopes up, folks. But anyway, that's all right. So, anyway, so been playing anywhere else this week or?
Well, let's see. The plan is I'm going to play the Opry with Rhonda and then be working the next day in the studio. And then when this comes out, you and I will be in Owensboro, Kentucky.
Yes, that's right. This will come out on Friday, March the 6th. And Josh and I are going to venture to Owensboro to the Bluegrass Hall of Fame and Museum. And we have been fortunate enough to score a couple of tickets to see our good buddy Dan Tominski. And I'm excited about that, man. And we're going to talk to him. And
we should be able to get some time to talk with him. So that'll be good.
Yeah, I'm hoping we get a chance to interview him and talk to him. I saw him and his band at Rudy Fest last year. And man, they closed the night with an amazing show. It was unbelievable. I know you've seen him many times, but
I have. But I always like watching him because he's always been one of my heroes, man. And, so getting to watch him do his thing is always awesome. And I'm curious to see if his band will be there with him because his bass player and banjo player, Grace Davis is his bass player, and Jason Davis, his banjo player. They are married, and they have just welcomed their first child into the world.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Cora Lee Davis was born on February the 13th in Galax, Virginia. She came in at 7 pounds and 3 ounces. So congratulations to them, and maybe that'll give Grace enough time to have rested up a little bit and be able to do it. But if not, there's I'm sure there'll be great musicians there with him.
Yeah,
they're always so.
Well, you'll be on hand if he needs a banjo player. So
that is true. That is true.
Oh man, well, that's cool. That's cool.
I guess I ought to throw it in the truck just to be on the safe side.
You should, man. I mean, have banjo will travel. So last time you and I were together at the Bluegrass Hall of Fame, it did not turn out so well for our vehicles.
No, it did not.
That was the night.
It turned out I thought I had gotten by really well. and I thought that you guys were the ones that got it worse. But you still have the vehicle that you took, and I no longer have the vehicle that I took.
Yeah.
That one didn't work out.
Yeah, about almost $20,000 worth of damage later from that hailstorm back in, gosh, I don't even know when that was. May of last year? I don't remember.
No, it was March.
Was it March?
It was
almost a
yeah,
year
it was
ago.
The last weekend of March.
Well, the cool thing about that night, I remember, was that John Metter had just announced he was leaving Authentic Unlimited. You were playing there that night before Authentic Unlimited, and Colton Baker, they had just announced that he was coming to replace John Metter, and he was actually there and sang a song with them, and you sang kind of a solo show that night, and then all hell broke loose after that.
That's right. That's right. I remember just looking out the window and saying, "Oh hail!
Oh hail!" Yeah, and when it hit,
right.
it was something. But never been in a
And it was
softball size hailstorm before. But it was something to behold.
Well, I had Weldon with me, and I was actually staying up for the festival and stuff there at the Holiday Inn when all of that went down, and I remember looking outside. Well, first off, I don't know if it happened where you were staying at or not, but it sounded like a freight train was trying to come through the window of my hotel room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was right next door to your hotel.
Which was on like the 10th floor or something, So, I mean, obviously, if there was a train trying to come through my window on the 10th floor, that was one heck of a train.
Yep.
So,
absolutely. It was something. But they have great shows there at the Hall of Fame, and excited to go hang out with those guys and see a great show and get to talk to the director and hopefully get to talk to Mr. Dan Tominski. Adam Englehart, the director, is going to show us around, and maybe we'll have a good time. I bet we do.
I bet if we're not careful, we'll mess around and have one.
I bet so. I know you and me pretty good. I bet we do.
Yep.
Speaking of good shows, good times, the Kentucky Opry in Draftonville, Kentucky, where you got your humble start as a youngster, is having the Gibson Brothers on their stage on March the 21st, and there's tickets still available at KentuckyOpry.com, so be sure and go check out the Gibson Brothers. Be a great night of bluegrass music there for those guys. So, you ever play with the Gibson Brothers? You know them guys?
I know them very well.
Yeah.
I've recorded with them before, and many years ago. In fact, they had just hired Clayton Campbell, Clay's oldest son, to play fiddle with them during that time.
Mm-hmm.
And gosh, that was a long time ago now. But yeah, he's no longer with the band. He left several years ago, but he was with them for 8 or 10 years, I think.
Yeah.
So
well, that's cool. They do great music, great songwriters too, I know. And March 21st, if you're going to be around Western Kentucky and the Kentucky Lake area, be sure and get your tickets to go see the Gibson Brothers. So.
And in fact, if you're not around the Western Kentucky area during that time, that would be a good time to make it to where you are.
Exactly. Drive there.
Kentucky. That's right.
Or drive here. Here. I forget. We're here. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, cool. Well, good deal. Well, we're excited to talk to Cindy Baucom here in a little bit and see what she's up to with her life of a syndicated radio host and just a wonderful person. And I know her late husband, Terry, and you were just great friends and played music a lot together over the years. So that'll be fun stories.
I loved old Terry, and I love Cindy. She's just, she has a place in my heart right along with old Terry.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited to talk to her.
Yep, she's got lots of great things happening in her world. I think she's written a new book. Can't wait to hear all about that. And so we'll talk to her about that. The Lake House Inn at Sled Creek has undergone complete renovation. Oh, Cindy Baucom, so be right back. Like any other at Kentucky Lake, with 2 in-ground pools, 18 rooms, and 4 cabins, we're just a stone's throw away from Kentucky Dam. If you're looking to make memories with your family, this nostalgic inn is for you. Welcome to your lake house, where modern meets rustic and becomes home. Reserve online at lakehouseinn.com.
The Gibson Brothers are coming to the Kentucky Opry.
Happy people all around me, but I've never felt so low. It's just one more night without you everywhere I go.
The Gibson Brothers, Saturday night, March 21st.
Who makes me forget all the other girls I've met? Sweet little Miss Blue Eyes.
The Gibson Brothers.
We don't know where we're going, but we sure are making good time.
The Gibson Brothers, bringing the bluegrass to the Kentucky Opry, Saturday night, March 21st. For reservations, call the Opry or go to KentuckyOpry.com.
I'm troubled in mind. If trouble don't kill me, I'll live a long time.
Hey, this is Josh Williams for Page Capos. The Page Capo is lightweight, durable, and quickly attaches and allows you to change frets with ease. With controlled tension capabilities, Page Capo always stays in tune. But don't just take my word for it. Page Capos is also used by folks like Vince Gill, Ron Block, Tim O'Brien, Cody Kilby, Tommy Emmanuel, and James Taylor. So don't trust just any capo. Use what the pros use. Listen to the Hometown Bluegrass Show podcast for your chance to win a Page Capo on every episode. Do what I do and trust Page Capos. Order online at pagecapo.com.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Hometown Bluegrass Show. We do appreciate you joining us, and we do appreciate Page Capo and all our great sponsors who you just heard from. We do give away a Page Capo in every single episode, and all you got to do to win is every one of them. Go to our Facebook page on Friday mornings when this podcast comes out, and we're going to ask you a question that you will only know the answer to should you have listened to this podcast. And the first two people to answer that correctly, we'll give them a McEwen guitar pick and a Page Capo. So that's all it is to it. We just give away stuff.
So they both, are you saying each person gets a pick and a capo?
No, the first two people to answer the question correctly, the first person gets to choose either McEwen pick or Page Capo. The second person gets the other. So
gets whatever's left over.
Exactly. But they're going to have to answer a question specific to the conversation which we are about to have, which I'm personally pretty excited about. We've got a precious lady who needs no introduction to the bluegrass world, Miss Cindy
But we
Baucom.
should give her one because she gives us one each time.
I know. Hey, Cindy, how famous has your life gotten since you've become the spokesperson for the Hometown Bluegrass Show?
The fan mail comes in consistently.
I knew we would make you famous. I knew it.
Indeed. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Well, we got tired
And
of
Billy who she just needed Tim and Josh. That's what it was.
That's it.
That's it. What it really was is we got tired of hearing ourselves, or then I did like an AI intro, and Josh always made fun of that. So I said,
the voice that you chose she was so not excited about it. It was very lackluster.
I know, but what do you do? It's just AI. So, but hey, we got the real thing now. We got the real bluegrass radio personality. So how are you, Cindy?
I am doing well, and I hope that you and Josh are, Tim. I appreciate the opportunity to get to chat with you here on your podcast, and congratulations on the success of it, and, using your knowledge to help spread news about bluegrass and good music. That's a cool thing, and thank you for that.
Well, no problem at all. This is our 92nd episode with you, so we've come a long way, and Josh and I together have 20 Bluegrass Guitar Music Awards together, so we're excited. Josh has 20 and I have 0, so we bring a lot to the table.
Well, that math still adds up, doesn't it?
It does. It does. That's right. So what have you been up to lately? You've been a busy lady.
Busy all the time, and very thankful for that. Of course, this is my 23rd year of Knee Deep in Bluegrass in national syndication, and I was doing local and regional radio 20 years before that. So actually starting my 43rd year of broadcasting. I started as a teenager and just enjoy it so much. And I know you all can attest to the fact that radio is a lot of fun. It's a good way to have new music and gather your friends around and say, hey, listen to this. It's so cool. And that's why I wanted to get into it in the first place, to share the music, and radio's just the perfect platform to do that. And of course, in addition to the broadcasting work, I still do MC work for live shows and festivals. And of course, before too long, the outdoor festival season's going to be in full swing. Looking forward to working at a lot of great places this coming year, and promoting the brand new children's book that I did in honor of my late husband, Terry Baucom, to help support the Lewy Body Dementia Association and animal shelter adoption. Promoting that has been keeping me busy as well. So just all good things. I love to stay busy, and lately it's been that for sure.
Wow, sounds like it. Well, tell us more about this book. How can people learn more about that?
Well, when Terry passed away, I wanted to channel my grief into something positive so that it could be something that would not only honor his musical legacy, but also help people who might be dealing with some of the same things that he dealt with throughout his illness. And I thought, if I can raise funds for these two great charities and help honor his legacy at the same time, that would be a bright spot in the world, sort of using the tragedy and turn it to good, because Bach was the kind of guy that lived every day to its fullest and enjoyed every single little thing that came along, whether it was the color of a wildflower or the coffee mug he was going to choose for that day because he liked its shape and he liked its color. Everything he just had such an appreciation for. And I thought, you know what? I need to honor him by putting something positive out in the world. And I was walking our little adopted shelter dog one day after his passing and thought, how could I incorporate their story into a children's book? And he was given many names by Bach because, unfortunately, as you know, dementia takes away your short-term memory. Now, there were times when he would go back and tell me stories about Boone Creek and in vivid detail tell me what car he and Wes Golding were in when they went to Ricky's parents' house and what Dorothy and Hobart served for supper. Just incredible long-term memory, but the short-term memory was not there. So Solomon was our adopted shelter dog's name when we got him, but if Balk couldn't remember his name, he would give him another name and another name and another name. And the book goes through how all those names were given, but it also highlights a lot of Terry's career. And it talks about a lot of the symptoms of Lewy body dementia so that young people especially might understand more about it. If they have a family member dealing with it, it might help them in a light-hearted way because it's told from the dog's perspective, be able to understand that it's the disease and not the person behaving differently or talking differently. And if it can help them understand while raising money for those charities, I thought that would be a good thing.
Wow. That is so cool.
Wow. That's amazing. Good for you for doing that, though. I mean, what were, do you remember some of the other names that he would call him?
Well, the
Because Bach was
title,
kind of a name guy anyway, I mean, he would kind of do that with everybody, even when his memory was still perfect,
oh, he had some, he would give people nicknames, yes. He had some of the most quotable quotes. I mean, just so funny, But the book's title is Solomon Simon Dogman Jack. And it starts out
Nice.
talking about that, his name was Solomon, like the king. And then he was given Simon, a name close to the other. Solomon Simon, dog. Sometimes he would just say dog, but he would go right to him. It didn't matter what he was called, the dog would go to him. Then there's a portion in the book that says, "Hey man," is something Terry would say before dementia got in the way. So when I heard "hey man," to his side, I would scurry. "I'm right here, Terry. There's no need to worry." So there was that. And then Lou Reed was visiting the house one day, and this dog is a jumper, and he was jumping up and down. And Lou said, "Bach, he must have some Jack Russell in him, the way he jumps." And Bach said, Jack would be a good name for him. So it wound up being Solomon Simon Dogman Jack. Most of the time we settled with Simon, and Simon is what I call him now. But we've been doing book signings, and Simon just loves the attention that he gets from kids when they come out to get their book, and he lets them love all over him. And he's a little 9-pound terrier mix, and just cute as a button. But as I said, the story's told from his perspective about his special relationship with Bach as he went through the journey, and that closeness they had. And there's just this real bond between animals and humans, dogs especially, I think. They can sense when something's wrong, they can sense when you need them. And he was just the most loving, nurturing little fella when we met him at the animal shelter and knew he was coming home with us. And he did prove to be exactly what Bach needed through his journey and his final transition.
Wow.
That is so cool. So how can people get the book?
Well, there are a few ways. Probably the easiest, there's a secure link on the homepage of kneedeepinbluegrass.com that will take you directly to the ordering page from the publisher. Turnaround time is very quick, too. Most people tell me they have their book within 5 days. And as I mentioned earlier, 100% of the profits are being donated to the Lewy Body Dementia Association and to Bonaparte's Retreat Dog Rescue that Emmylou Harris founded about 20 years ago. Emmylou helps a lot of animals per year. She goes to the shelters and adopts the ones that need surgery before they can be adopted, or they're up in age and they need extra care, and that takes money. And so she was really happy when I told her what I was doing and offered to share the profits with Bonaparte's Retreat and the Lewy Body Dementia Association. And so, again, right there on the homepage of kneedeepinbluegrass.com. Now, if you happen to be up in Owensboro, Kentucky at the Bluegrass Music Hall of Fame and Museum, they have them in the gift shop there. And there are a few places where you can go in and get it, but to order it securely, again, kneedeepinbluegrass.com is the easiest place to go.
Wow. That's so cool. Well, be sure and go out and get your copy of that book and help those great causes. And that's so cool that you did that. I'm going to have to get me one now. Read that to my little grandkids. So I'm excited about it.
Well, there you go. There you go. I have loved hearing from people. Some have been strangers that will send me a picture of a child in their life they've presented it to. Some have been longtime friends in the music world that say, "Oh, here's my grandchild reading your book," or "my children reading your book," or sometimes they're even just sharing it with their pet, which I love that too. But it's just been very rewarding having it out there in the world, and the bluegrass community has just embraced it, and I'm very grateful for that.
That's cool. Well, we've told lots of Bach stories on this podcast over the last couple of years. Josh has obviously spent lots of time playing with Terry and all. And so what's that one story you tell Josh about something about you got to beat a man, or something like that? What was that?
Oh, somebody was that's actually Ashby Frank was the one that told me that one because they were talking to him at IBMA one year, and somebody had said, Terry, you're the man. And Terry's response was, I'm not the man, man. He said, if I was the man, I'd be in there singing tenor in B, and it'd be up their rear end or something like that. I can't remember exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not the man, man. If I was the man, I'd be singing tenor in B. It's like, wow.
There's so many great stories, and I was hearing them every day. And I should have written more down because it's like when your kid is growing up, and you're like, "Oh, that's the cutest thing they just said. I'm gonna always remember that." And then the next week, you're going, "Now, what was that? I should have written it
Yeah.
down." So yeah, there were just a lot of times like that. One of my favorites was at IBMA one year, late night showcases, and we were walking down the hall, and oh, he hears a banjo doing a lot of his licks and things similar. He's like, "Let's go in here." Well, it was Ron Stewart. Well, when Ron saw him, he started doing even more Terry Baucom licks and just really getting into it. And Bach just got right there close to him, watching every note. And as soon as it was over, he just looked at Ron and he said, "Well, if I couldn't be me, I'd be you. But I am me."
That
So
is a good
yeah,
one.
there's a lot of them, and yeah, just what an honor and joy to. We were together 23 years, and just the best guy. They broke the mold. There was not another one like him, and both musically and personality wise, and just he brought a lot to the world, and I cannot be more grateful for those years that we had together.
Yeah, that's awesome. Jason McKendry told me.
There's a lot of people in the music business that you get around that I mean, most of them I'm not starstruck by, but there was a couple of people throughout life that I met that I was just immediately starstruck by, and of course one of them was Tony Rice, and Jerry Douglas, who we talked to last week, was one of those too. But Baucom was like that for me. Like when I first was around him, he was like telling me that he liked my playing, and I literally couldn't grasp that. I couldn't get past the holy crap. I'm talking to Terry Baucom, and he knows who I am. Like he knows me. That was the first time we played over at Denton when I had just joined Rhonda.
And I remember that so well because he was like, "Let's go speak to Josh Williams. He's such a great player." And when he walked up and spoke to you and complimented your music, I remember you saying that very thing. "I can't believe you even know who I am," which
Yeah.
surprised him because he admired what you did so much. And then very cool that you all got to go on and play a lot of music together. And not only that, that viral video from Denton Farm Park where the little bird fell on your guitar.
That's
He
what I
was
was
on
gonna say.
stage with you at that time too.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I was going to
Yeah,
say earlier.
absolutely.
Jason McKendry told me he couldn't play with you at Denton that time, and so Terry filled in ended up being the bird landed on during Mordecai. So
Yeah. Yeah, he
That
was
was
immortalized in the history there.
yeah,
that was very, very cool. And Josh, we loved your dad so much too, and the memories of going up to the Kentucky Lake Festival and all the great friends up there and the great music. And when friends get together that have known each other for a lot of years and start sharing all these stories, it's just a very special thing.
It really is. It really is. And I remember when we came up, me and my dad went over. I believe it was in Moxville, North Carolina, where you guys had it was you and Terry, and then me and Lou Reed came and played with you guys, and Wes Golding, where I met Wes Golding for the first time. It was
Yes.
at the race park or wherever.
Farmington Dragway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Farmington. Yeah.
That was, and you stayed in Moxville because it is right
Yeah.
next door, so you
Yeah.
weren't very far off. But that was a fun time, and yeah, that's right. That was a lot of years ago, but again, such great memories. And when you look back at all those musical times, the musical times are special and the moments created on stage were special, but the offstage stuff, the visits and just getting to, get better acquainted and enjoy each other's unique personalities, there's just nothing like it. You just you can't fully describe to someone who has not experienced it on that level what it is even like. It's just
Mhm.
unbelievable.
Well, I just as yesterday I found a sticker that you guys had given me years ago, and it's the my spirit animal is Terry Baucom, or Terry Baucom is my spirit animal. I found that sticker and I put it on my banjo case. So
All right. That is so good. And a lot of people tell me that too. They're like, we feel like we carry his spirit with us when we play or when we tell a story. And Mike Hartgrove actually has the fiddle that Terry played with Charlie Moore when his professional career first started. And Grove told me every time Sammy and I load up the bus and we go out with the Lonesome River Band, we feel like we're taking Terry's spirit with us when I play this fiddle and keep his music alive that way. And so, all those things are really good things.
yeah, yeah, that's really cool. So, what you said that you started in radio back when you were a teenager. Tell me about that. What kind of thing did you do in your beginning your career in the radio business?
I went straight to an on-air bluegrass show when I was 17 at a station in Northwest North Carolina, WKSK, and it was the WKSK Bluegrass Spectacular. And recently, I came across some notebooks where I had logged my playlist from, we're talking 1983, and I would look down the line and I was playing Boone Creek, Carl Jackson, J.D. Crowe and the New South, the Osborne Brothers. I'm like, wow, I had really good taste in music even as a teenager.
Yeah, that's
But my
great.
my dad played bluegrass my whole life and built instruments. And the area where I was, I mean, we were very close to Wayne Henderson's guitar shop as far back as I can remember going over and seeing Wayne work on guitars. Just about everybody who was a friend of my dad played music. There were jam sessions at the house. I lived very close to where the Union Grove and the Galax Fiddlers conventions were held. So it was such a part of my history. But the one main thing that got me started in radio. Now, I started working when I was 15 years old, the day I turned 15, and I was switchboard operator and receptionist at our local hospital. And I would see the radio station owner come through, and I would listen to the local station because they had a bluegrass show. But I was listening one day, and it became very apparent to me that the announcer that was on the air didn't know a lot about bluegrass, but he was playing good music. Well, he'd gotten a hold of a brand new album from Sugar Hill Records. And if you remember, the album label in the middle of the LP had the big logo of Sugar Hill. Well, he was playing Doyle Lawson and Quicksilver. And when he opened the mic, you could tell he was turning away from the mic to look at the turntable. And he said, "That's a new band called Sugar Hill." Well, I just about freaked over that. I was like, oh man. So the next time I saw the station owner, I said, could I come up and assist your announcer, maybe provide bullet points on what he should say or help select some music? He said, oh, we need someone to do that show. Would you be interested in doing that show? And I'm like, well, I don't have any radio experience. He said, and at the time, he was the president of the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters. He said, I can train you. Well, I was in my senior year of high school when this started, and I had planned to go on to broadcasting school, but after getting a foot in the door and getting established on the air, he offered me a full-time job when I graduated, and I took it. And then I kept thinking to myself, radio is fun, and until I figure out what my calling in life is, I'll continue working in radio a while. And now I'm still there. So I either haven't figured out my calling in life, or or I found it out very, very early. And I think it's probably the latter. But it's just the kind of thing where I wake up every day going, is this really my job? I get to talk about bluegrass and listen to new music and interview some of my very favorite people in the world and hang out with some of my very favorite people in the world. Am I really getting paid for this? And so I did take my college classes at night after I would work during the day. I took things related to the field: public speaking, English, psychology. And so I took college classes at night, continued working in radio, and as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, worked 20 years in local and regional radio before the opportunity for national syndication came about through the John Boy and Billy Network. And that started in 2003. And that was a very big year. 2003, I started the national show, Knee Deep in Bluegrass. Terry and I got married that year, and it's also the year he went back to Doyle Lawson and Quicksilver after being an original member. So 2003 was a very, very big year at our house.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but just a lot of gratitude for the opportunity to do what I do, know the people I've been able to get acquainted with, and it's just such a blessing every day.
Well, Tim got to meet the guy, meet John Boy and Billy.
Oh yeah, that was what highlighted. I've always been a huge fan of radio and that sort of thing, and I was a big John Boy and Billy fan. Years ago, and I was in Charlotte, North Carolina for a worship conference with. I was on staff at a church, and I thought I'm gonna get up in the early in the morning. I'm gonna go try to find their studio and just see if I can see where it's at. Ended up. They invited me in. I got to sit in the room with them during their broadcast, and they even gave me a shout out on the air and everything. And like, we got Tim Batts here from Paducah, Kentucky, and in the studios, and it was such a highlight. It was awesome.
Oh, that is really neat. I love hearing that. I was actually, John Boy loves bluegrass, and he would have Del McCurry on the air with him, and he would have Dolly in, or Earl Scruggs, and the classic rock stations that were the network affiliates of the big show would say, why are you playing all that? They would just really complain about all the bluegrass that was being played. And John Boy's like, it's our show. That's why they're like, we're a classic rock station, and we air John Boy and Billy, and they're hearing all this bluegrass. So the CEO of the network had heard my show, and I was on in Greensboro, North Carolina at the time, and he was, and actually, Bach was giving him banjo lessons. And one day he said, we're taking a lot of flack from the network for the amount of bluegrass we play. Would your wife be interested in syndicating her show and us putting it out there nationally? He was like, I bet she would. And so that's how that came about. And that has just been a way to get the good stuff out there on a much larger scale,
Absolutely. Our local station here in Benton carries your show as well. WCBL here in Benton, Kentucky carries your show.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I've got to hear your show a bunch. I got to hear myself on your show before.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of Josh Williams on Knee Deep in Bluegrass, and they were one of the first affiliates probably 20 or more years ago. And you know, that's the thing about it. You know, the stations are scattered out all over. Of course, the Southeast has the heaviest concentration, but there's over 100 media outlets airing Knee Deep in Bluegrass every week. And let me mention too that for the last 4 years, I've had the opportunity of hosting Stained Glass Bluegrass that Gary Henderson started on WAMU in the 1970s. So I program 7 hours of fresh bluegrass every week and distribute it to more than 100 media outlets. And then I do my own sponsorship as well. You know, contacting you guys know how it is. If you have a sponsor that believes in what you're doing, it helps you pay the bills. And I have some great folks I work with. So keeping those marketing plans up to date and those commercials produced. And so, you know, it's really a full-time job and one that I love more than I could tell you.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like heaven to me. I was absolutely blessed. Do you have a studio at your home? You produce all these shows then, Cindy?
I do. Years ago, the folks at the John Boy and Billy Network said, we're going to send our engineer to your house to put you a studio in there. And I'm like, wow. And again, I just always feel so blessed to get up in the morning and say, I'm going to, you know, see what songs have been released this week, you know, listen to some new music, see what I need to get on this week and put together a show and do that in the comfort of my own home. And it's just such a blessing. It really is.
That is.
Well, I
so
keep
cool.
waiting for Tim to come over here and put a studio in my house, and he has yet to do it. So.
Tim, what are you waiting for?
I don't know.
Yeah, man.
I got one over here. You can just move in with me, I guess. So.
I guess I'm going to have to.
Yeah, there is nothing like, I did pre-recorded bluegrass show for a while, but for a couple of years I did do a live bluegrass radio show, internet show, and oh my gosh, I don't know. I may be weird, but it's just nothing like live radio. It's just like, to me, it was just such an adrenaline rush. I don't know.
Oh, it is. Answering the phones when you're doing a live show, I'm just as entertained as anyone listening, especially if you do one of those shows where there's like a swap shop or a trading post.
Yeah.
Those are hilarious. And answering some of those calls live on the air, I would just crack up sometimes at what people, I distinctly remember a guy calling in one time and he said, Cindy, I've got a guitar for sale. It's a S-hole guitar. I said, an S-hole guitar? And he said, yeah, you know, on the top of it, they're shaped like S's. I said, I think that's an F-hole guitar, but if you want to call it an S-hole, because they're shaped like S's, that just cracked me up. And then people, the way they would pronounce cars or dogs or I'll cool seal your mobile home. I mean, those shows are quite entertaining. You don't even have to play any songs. Just let the people talk.
No doubt. That's great.
You know, the early the early Gilchrist mandolins had S-shaped holes, and I think he stopped doing that because there were so many people calling them S-hole mandolins.
Well,
you know,
there you go.
It's like, well, this thing's
See?
got S-holes on it. Now you mention it, the guy that built it's kind of an S-hole too. But you know,
See, you know of what I speak.
They're very distinctly F's now. You know.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. But, and you know, even taking requests live on the air and quickly like queuing up that phone call and getting that song on within the next 5 minutes. I mean, it really keeps you on your toes, but you're right, Tim, quite an adrenaline rush. And then the way people would call in and pronounce names sometimes of the artist, or they would give you like 2 words and say, you know, the one I'm talking about,
Yeah.
you know, the one I'm talking about. But I had a very funny experience just this past Saturday. my brother was honored at a reception for his work in education, and it was in one of the counties where I was in radio 35 years ago. And when I walk in, this lady said, "Are you Cindy?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "Oh, do you remember I called you at WKBC and had you play Born to Boogie by Hank Williams Jr. for my son's birthday?" And I said, "Well, ma'am, that was over 30 years ago." And she's like, "Do you remember? Do you remember?" And I was like, sure.
Sure.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. You know how it is, Josh. They'll come up to you at the record table and you've not seen them in 20 years. And they'll go, You remember me, don't you? We spoke
Yeah.
one time down at Jekyll Island. Do you remember me, don't
Yes,
you?"
that
Yeah.
happens a
So,
lot.
but yeah, a lot of fun. I love people.
We had for actually it did last for quite some time. We had a station here that decided to do all bluegrass, and I think they've gone to talk radio now. But they were they had a all bluegrass all the time radio station, and you could tell like when they first got started, there wasn't a whole lot of knowledge about the bluegrass and stuff, and then there was one evening show where they played Rob Ickes had a new album came out, and of course they're kind of featuring it, and the boy was a young boy. I still don't even know who he was to this day, so it's not like I'm going to call his name out and embarrass him because I don't think he was into bluegrass anyway. But anyway, he was the one hosting at that time, and he was several times he'd come back on the air talking about this new record by Rob Ickes, and he was going to be featuring Rob Ickes for the next hour, and it was just like somebody call him.
Yes, please. Bless his heart.
We finally called him and said it's Ickes, Rob Ickes. But he called him Rob Ickes for at least 45 minutes.
Yeah, you could have told him, Ikes, like yikes, like I was thinking when I heard you, yikes, it's Ikes. Wow.
So the next time I saw Rob, I had to tell him, and I called him Rob Ickes. It was Mr. Ickes.
Well, there you go. Yeah, and that's the kind of thing that, just like I was talking about getting into radio because of hearing those mistakes, it's like, no, we can do better for bluegrass than this. I was a huge fan of Casey Kasem growing up and listening to his top 40 countdown and his long distance dedications. And even as a younger teenager, I would think to myself, why can't there be a show where they're playing Sonny and Bobby and you're getting a long distance dedication for my favorite memory? And so that was always in the back of my mind. I just had no idea how syndicated radio worked, and it did take working 20 years in local and regional radio to feel like I was ready once that opportunity came along. But listening to things like that and going, bluegrass deserves to be honored in such a way on a big scale. And, but when I look back at getting to meet Lester Flatt when I was 11, when Marty Stewart was still in his band, or having Bobby Osborne sign the inside of my palm at a bluegrass festival and retracing it every time I would wash my hands so it wouldn't go away. And when I told him that story years later during an interview I was doing with him, I could just tell he was so honored by that I would just keep retracing Bobby Osborne on the inside of my hand. But just such wonderful times, such wonderful memories in this music, and friendships that you have, that you carry with you up through the years, and you just never know where it's going to take you and where those opportunities are going to lead.
It reminds me of the IBMA award show back years ago when I was with Rhonda the first time. They did it was kind of a military type of salute. It ended up backfiring and being a big blown up hubbub. But anyway, I remember we had a bunch of veterans and stuff come out on stage. And I remember you telling me this story because you guys were sitting down towards the front and Bobby Osborne came and stood out like right in the front, and he had his Marine coat, his jacket on, but he didn't have a hat on. And I remember Terry saying, "Man, if you put a hat on that guy, that would be Bobby Osborne." And Terry, that is Bobby Osborne.
Yes, yes, you're exactly right. And Bobby got the biggest kick out of that. And then for years after that, anytime we would be somewhere where Bobby was, he would always walk up to Balk and go, "Hey, put a hat on him. He's Bobby Osborne." He goes, "But even without the hat, he's still Bobby Osborne." It was great. It was great.
That's awesome.
That is funny.
That is awesome. That's so funny. I'll never forget that story. And then getting to travel with you guys, whenever we would do the what they called them, the all-star things that we did that Larry Gorley put together and took on the road several places.
Oh
Getting to
yeah.
that was always a lot of fun.
Oh yes.
That's actually where I got to know you and Terry probably the most, was getting to travel with you guys and hang out at, after the shows and before the shows and all that. I mean, that's probably my most fun that I ever had with you guys.
Oh, those were so much fun and so unique. Those combinations of artists that would come out on stage together and do those great songs. And I remember how honored Bach was when we did a show in Oklahoma. And he was so excited. He goes, "I'm going to get to play Gold Rush with Berline." And, to be on stage with Byron Berline doing Gold Rush, and that to him was just like the pinnacle of getting to do something cool with someone that he had looked up to and admired for so long. But those were very unique, and yeah, such a great time.
Yeah, those were a lot of fun. A lot of fun. I remember, not to get too far off topic, but you mentioned that about Byron Berline, which I met him years and years and years ago because I was a huge John Hickman fan. So naturally, I had every Berline, Curry, and Hickman album that they had made. And then when California became a group, I got to meet him at IBMA the first year that I was there and stuff. And anyway, I got to know Byron real well. But we played over in Augusta. What is the name of that school? There was a college that they did like a bunch of workshops and stuff in over there, and I'm trying to think of where it was. It's in West Virginia, I think. But
like Elkins, West Virginia, I think.
Elkins.
Yeah, that Augusta music camp that would happen
Yes.
like for a full week in the summer.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I got to do that, and Byron was one of the main teachers that got, he came out for like a few days or whatever, and I got to hang out with him, and he was telling me all kinds of stories, getting to play with Clarence White and all that kind of stuff. He was a big and great friend with Clarence, but huge fan of his too, So I got the opportunity to really kind of hang out with him then and get to know him and stuff. But he was such a good dude, man, on top of being a fantastic musician. And that's what I love about this music, is you get to know these people that you listen to on the radio and on albums and stuff, and you get to know them and actually get to become friends with them. That's so hard, so much harder to do in other genres.
It really is. And, but Josh, that's how the next generation down looks up to you. When you take time to spend with them, they look at you the same way. And that's something that I try to be mindful of. If someone is wanting to talk to me about what I do or something, and you think, "Oh, I need to rush away," or it's like, no, take time with them because people took time with you, and this means a lot to them right now. Well, did Byron tell you about being on Star Trek?
Yes, he did.
The fiddling
awesome.
alien. You can see that on YouTube if somebody wants to see Byron Berline like dressed in his Star Trek uniform, playing fiddle. There used to be a clip out on YouTube. I hope that it still is. But he told me he was very fit. He was very athletic in college, and all through his life, he stayed very fit. And he said that they gave him this compression garment, and they said, "This goes under your costume." And he goes, "Oh, I don't need that." They said, "Everybody wears one, even the stars of the show." And he said, "I just remember thinking, I really don't need this, but if I have to wear it, I will." Oh, wow.
That's funny.
I'm gonna look for that. I want to find that. I want
Yeah,
to see
you need to. You're gonna love it. I think the fiddling alien Star Trek. I think that's how I used to find it most easily. It might be right next to the bird falling on your guitar as you sing Mordecai. So
Yeah.
they're all in there clumped together. All those cool ones.
And Terry
It's
Baucom
funny,
never
right-
changing
right-
his facial expression during the whole thing.
Yeah, well, he kind of looks over at one point, finally at the end, and people don't get to see this, but because he starts to lean over as the video ends, but he looked at me and he was like, "You've got a fan, man."
And you did. And the thing I loved about your video, Josh, is you didn't stop singing. Now, you did stop playing. And when the camera zoomed in on you, you were singing to the bird and you were rubbing his head. And I've watched that so many times going, this looks like a Disney movie.
He still gets a weekly rabies shot to this day for that. So,
Yeah.
You know-
Yeah, I always heard you shouldn't touch those birds in the wild, but you had no
well,
choice, did you?
I didn't have a choice, and I figured, I probably could have got more mileage out of the video if I'd have done more like what Ozzy Osbourne did, or something. But I'm happy to stay with what I got, So
I think that's probably best. So you didn't have to say tastes like chicken.
yeah, exactly.
that's hilarious.
Oh, wow.
My goodness.
Well,
Well,
the mileage that it's got.
Oh, yeah.
Josh and I know you don't know what you want to be when you grow up, but we're trying to be like you when we grow up. We want to keep promoting bluegrass music and just pushing it every week.
Well, thank
That's
you for
right.
doing that. There needs to be more of it out there. And there is more and more and more all the time. And I love that. And the young people coming up are playing so well, just technically so well. They have so many tools at their fingertips. They can learn from the best teachers, online, or watch a solo over and over and over on a YouTube clip or whatever. And the more bluegrass that's out there, the better place the world will be. That's my philosophy.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And
Terry gave me a big shot in the arm whenever I'd left Rhonda's band. He basically told me, he was like, "So you're going to start your own band?" And I said, "Well, yeah, that's the plan." He's like, "Cool, man, I'm in." And just him saying that alone was just like such a huge shot in the arm that he would even consider that. That really gave me the confidence in order to be able to really start building my name, as a solo artist. And I to this day, I'll never forget that. I appreciate him doing that. And, of course, you were just like always right there beside him. And you always have had, very encouraging words. And I've always appreciated that.
Well, so many people that have the talent, and are humble like yourself, sometimes fail to recognize that in themselves the way that other people see it. And all it takes is that little extra push, that extra boost of confidence that, yes, you can do that. And I know that JD Crow is another that just highly encouraged you. And you mentioned Tony earlier. There have been so many, but I know that you and JD had a special relationship too.
Yeah, we actually did. He was like family. I met Crow. He was one of my first heroes I ever met. And I was about 11 years old. And he was just the coolest. And he never talked to me like I was a kid, even though I was. He talked to me like I was another picker,
Mhm.
And he was like family in the sense that, like, when Weldon was born, for the first 4 years of Weldon's life, he thought Crow was his grandpa, and he wouldn't have ever thought no different. When we just started cutting that record that Crow had produced on me, the Modern Day Man record. And when Weldon would come in, he'd toddle straight over to Crow, and Crow would pick him up, put him in his lap, and they'd produce the record together.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Those things are just so incredible and such fond memories. And it's speaking of your recordings, if folks are tuning into Knee Deep in Bluegrass this week, they'll hear Streets of Bakersfield. That's one of my favorites. I loved your cover of that. Just such a good version of that song, and that's one I go to often.
No,
And then
thank
when
you.
it comes to gospel music, will you meet me over there? That's my other personal favorite on the bluegrass gospel side of things.
Well, Ron Stewart wrote that song, and if I wasn't me, I'd want to be him. So
But you're you.
it doesn't carry near as much weight as when Terry Baucom said it, though.
Oh, that's great. I'm sure it meant just as much to Ron Stewart, though. That's awesome. Oh,
Well, Cindy, thank you so much for taking time with a couple of old Kentucky knuckleheads like us. We appreciate it so much.
well, Kentucky's where it all started. Kentucky is the bluegrass state. And so I am highly honored that two Kentucky boys would invite me on to chat about bluegrass. It has been a great, great pleasure to speak with you both.
Well, it's an honor as we play the intro and outro for this podcast now to hear your voice and say those nice things about us, even though we told you what to say. We still appreciate it.
But I don't lie. I would have edited the script if I needed to.
Oh, that's
And
good
if you,
to know.
Hey, and if you ever want it updated or you need anything else thrown in, hey, send me a script anytime, and I'll do whatever you say.
If we go to a video podcast, we might need you to edit in the word handsome or something.
Of course. Well, they'll know that once they see you both.
Oh, Lord. All right, girl. Well, thank you so much. Have a great week and a great show coming up. And folks, go to kneedeepinbluegrass.com and buy one of these books that Cindy's written for a great cause.
Congratulations on that book too, Cindy. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And you all just keep doing what you're doing, and I'll do the same. And one by one, we will convert the world to bluegrass fans. How about that?
Amen.
That's
sister.
right.
Okay, take care. Thanks again.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Custom Automotive in Calvert City, Kentucky has been a family-operated business for over 50 years. When you call Custom Automotive, you'll talk to an experienced tire and wheel expert. They install wheels and tires on thousands of vehicles every year in addition to their online sales. Stop by and thank them for supporting bluegrass music. Custom Automotive, Highway 62, Calvert City, Kentucky, 270-395-7611. Or visit them online at customautoonline.com.
Looking for expert insurance advice from a team that truly knows Western Kentucky? At Paducah Insurance Agency, we're more than just policies. We're your neighbors, helping you protect what matters most. With locations in Paducah and Benton, Kentucky, we offer home, auto, business, and life insurance with top carriers like Erie Insurance, all at competitive rates. Locally owned and committed to your peace of mind, Jared Morgan and his team are here to help. Call Paducah Insurance Agency today at 855-853-4763 or visit paducahinsurance.com. Paducah Insurance, coverage you can count on from people you trust.
Howdy, friends. I'm Banjo Ben Clark, and you're listening to my good buddies Tim Batts and Josh Williams on the Hometown Bluegrass Show. You've tuned in because you like valuable conversation about the world's best music. And if you want more good stuff like that, come on over to my website, banjobenclark.com, where you can learn how to play and purchase anything you might need when it comes to bluegrass-related instruments and accessories. My Gold Pick members over there can access hundreds of lessons for banjo, guitar, and mandolin with all kinds of resources to help you move on down the road with your picking skills. And if you're looking to purchase something, the deals can't be beat at Banjo Ben's General Store. All there on the same website, banjobenclark.com. Now back to the show.
such a good conversation with Cindy Baucom, and what a sweet and wonderful woman she is.
Yes, I agree.
Absolutely.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Wholeheartedly agree. So good to catch up with her and all the great things she's doing. And that children's book, go buy that thing. Check it out. We're going to look for that when we're at the Hall of Fame. I'm going to see if I'm about buying one at the museum when we're there.
Yeah, me too.
In the gift shop, and read that to my grandchildren. So anyway, but hey, we want to hear from you. So if you've got a song idea that you want to hear, don't forget Josh is about to embark on a new venture a little bit here with music lessons online. Be paying attention for that. Stay tuned for more details. You want to tell them a little bit about that, buddy?
Well, the plan is once I return home, I actually leave next week. After we next week, we are scheduled to have Wayne Benson on the show with us for an interview. And after next week, we'll be taking the following week off because for the next 10 days, I will be in Ireland. And whenever I return home from Ireland, we're going to be starting lessons. And I have several folks that have reached out. And don't worry, I will be reaching out to you if I haven't already. And be starting some online lessons. I'm working on trying to find a place here locally where I can meet maybe one day a week with some folks as well, because I know I have had a lot of messages about in-person. But so more to come on that. That has not, I haven't figured that one out yet, but we'll be looking to do the online lessons. So again, if I have not reached out to you via Facebook, for those folks who have already reached out to me expressing the interest, if I haven't reached out to you, I will do that. If you have not reached out to me yet and you are interested in that, please reach out to my Facebook. And I'm happy to talk to you about it. And it's looking like it's going to be half-hour lessons, about $35, and about $60 for an hour. So,
are you going to teach all instruments or just guitar or what?
I'll be teaching guitar, mandolin, and banjo starting out.
Yeah.
So
cool.
I may break off into some more, maybe give some bass lessons. I don't really want to do fiddle lessons just because there's a lot of other folks around that do fiddle lessons that are better at it than me. Plus, I don't want to teach anybody any bad habits. So, the other instruments I feel fairly confident on.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to do that. But I've had a lot of folks reached out, especially for guitar. So that'll probably be the majority of the lessons that I'm doing will be guitar.
Yeah.
But that's just right now. Tentatively, that's my prices, and they could fluctuate here and there a little bit. But that's I think that's about the rate that they're going to be going at, something like that.
Well, stay tuned for more info on that, and you can learn more at Josh's Facebook page or the Hometown Bluegrass Show Facebook page. We'll share that as well.
Or the Southern Legacy.
Or the Southern Legacy page. That's right. So I know you're looking forward to going to Ireland with Southern Legacy. That'll be a fun trip for sure.
Yes. I'm
jealous.
really looking forward to that. Would appreciate everybody's prayers during that time for safe travel. But yeah, it's going to be a really good time. In fact, our buddy Mark Rogers from McEwen Guitar Picks will be on that trip with us.
Well, he told me. Yeah, that's awesome. Both of you are going to be gone and miss my birthday. I'm kind of upset about it, but anyway, I guess I'll get over it. But anyway.
Are you sure? It doesn't sound like you're gonna.
Well, I just kept waiting for the free plane ticket. So here's for your birthday, Tim. We're going to take you to Ireland.
We don't even get free plane tickets.
Oh well, gosh, be particular about it.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun time, but I will be sad to miss your birthday while I'm gone. We'll make sure we do something for your birthday from Ireland back home to
there you go. There you go. And you're giving me a week or two off from the podcast. So I guess I'm getting kind of like a paid vacation. So
there you go. Yeah, there you go.
So, well, we want to hear from you. Check us out on Facebook, the Hometown Bluegrass Show. We've been contemplating with the idea of doing a video podcast. So we want to hear from you. Is that something you guys want to see literally or not.
Want to see our ugly mugs?
Yeah, so let us know what your thoughts are on that, and you can do that at timbats.com or the Hometown Bluegrass Show Facebook page, and we'd love to hear from you. So thanks so much for Cindy Baucom for being our great guest tonight. We love her so much, and thank you for listening to the Hometown Bluegrass Show. Episode 92 is in the books, and we're going to truck on and have a good time. You get on to the Grand Ole Opry, boy. You got to play a banjo tonight.
That's right, and I got to get on the road.
That's right. So remember, if you got time to breathe,
you got time for music.
Bye, y'all.
That's going to do it for this episode of the Hometown Bluegrass Show. Thanks for spending some time with your hosts, Tim Batts and Josh Williams. We hope you learned a little and laughed a lot. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode from the heart of bluegrass. Until next time, keep picking, keep grinning. Tim and Josh look forward to seeing you down the road.